Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was created by a user named Fluff Llama Pajama. It was posted in the AITAH subreddit and is titled WIBTA for not having my cancer-stricken ex-husband stay with me through his treatment. For most of our marriage, my husband, 39M, and I, 37F, had a very happy relationship. We had good jobs, decent money, 2 kids, and loved each other. Then he got diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, and we went through years of painful treatments and recovery together. We moved to a small house to be close to the research center where he underwent treatment. His parents paid half of the down payment on the house. The other half was from our savings and investments. In the divorce, he gave me the house and took all of his medical debt. We have been divorced for a year, but now his cancer has come back, and he needs treatment again at the same research hospital. He wants to stay in what is now my house while undergoing treatment, and his parents expect me to house him and look after him because he was generous in letting me have the house without taking his rightful share from the equity. When we were married and he was undergoing treatment, it was new stuff that was expensive and also very physically draining on him. We were lucky that both our jobs were supportive and flexible, but with his health issues, little kids, and expenses, we had to downgrade our lifestyle a lot. That, plus the physical changes in his body, made him very depressed. Whenever he felt a bit better, he'd go stay in his hometown. It's a small town where most of his family and a lot of his childhood friends live. I was doing all the caretaking of him while also dealing with insurance complications. I was also managing the kids, the entire household, and my full-time job. We had help from friends and neighbors, but it was very hard. I wasn't happy about him spending his healthy days away from us, but it was good for his mental health, so I didn't feel like I could object. While he was staying there, he had reconnected with his high school girlfriend. A couple of years ago, he admitted to me that he was sleeping with her, and I filed for divorce. He had fully recovered from his cancer by then. There are other aspects of the cheating that left me very heartbroken and feeling betrayed. His giving me the house and taking all the debt was an apology of sorts. His parents feel that I owe him for getting the house and should let him stay there for the 2 to 3 months his treatment is at the facility. I do want him to be well, and I don't want my kids to lose a loving father. But I can't deal with having him around me, especially not if I end up being his nurse and caretaker again. I am still very bitter about how our marriage ended. A lot of people close to me are telling me that I should support him for the sake of my kids. User Teresa JS said NTA, you received the house as part of your divorce settlement. You could have gotten his retirement accounts or something similar instead of the house, if there were such assets to be had. Stop thinking of the house as being given to you. It was awarded to you as part of the divorce settlement, not given to you as prepayment for future caregiving. But you're getting assets from the divorce doesn't entitle your cheating ex to free housing, utilities, food, and caregiving. Your ex and his AP can find their own housing near a cancer center. If it's important to his parents that your ex get care and housing, they can figure out how to help provide that. He's your ex, which means that it's no longer your responsibility. While I empathize with ex's plight, I won't be housing nor providing care for him. Due to the circumstances of our divorce, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to provide those services. At this time, ex needs the support of his family and close friends more than ever, and I am no longer either of those. I hope that X recovers from his illness quickly, and I'll be praying for him. User Many Hobbies Gal said NTA, sounds like you more than picked up the slack the last time he was in treatment, including caring for him. How did he repay you? By going back to his hometown and taking up with another woman. You owe him nothing. This garbage about being generous in the divorce settlement was something other than generosity, perhaps guilt. No, you have drawn your boundaries. Moving him in will put you in the same position as before. Let him check with the research hospital and see what the social work department can come up with for lodging. Generally, there are free or very low-cost options for those undergoing cancer treatment. User Natural Garbage 7674 said NTA. He wants the same dynamic as before, with the added benefit to him that he owes you nothing because you are no longer married, while benefiting from the fact that many people would feel obligated to look after the sick person staying in their home. He gave up the house because he's a jerk who cheated on the wife who sacrificed and stood by him while he was sick. His parents may have helped pay for the house, but he is the one who gave it away. You aren't part of his support network anymore. It sucks that he's sick again, but but that is not your problem, and you have no obligation or moral responsibility to help him in any way. He's on his own this time, and it's his own fault. Another user said, I think you are going to have to approach this bluntly. Do not be nice. Tell your previous in-laws that you don't want to be around a fucking cheater. Period. Don't speak with them anymore about this situation. Feel free to say this same thing to your former husband. Best of luck. NTA, a deleted user, said, so every time he felt healthy, he went back to his parents and got laid, and every time he felt sick, he stayed at the marital home so you could take care of him. Don't even let him look at your house, let alone stay in it. The girlfriend can get him a house near his treatment center. You are NTA. About 4 weeks later, OP gave us an update. The Sunday after I made the post, my ex-in-laws picked up the kids for a zoo trip. They sometimes come to pick them up to entertain them, and so I thought nothing of it. A few hours later, a very teary and contrite Mill dropped off 2 bawling kids with me. She told them their dad is sick and will die if he doesn't stay with us and go to the hospital. We hadn't had a talk with the kids yet about the diagnosis, and she dropped it on them that he is dying from cancer. He is not dying. It's a painful treatment, but he'll recover. I was so furious I was raging. I called the ex and tore him a new one. He was shocked too, and we together exploded at his mom. She broke down and cried, begging me not to take away her grandkids from her as if I'd trust her after this. X and I together talked to the kids, him on video, and assured them that yes, he is sick, but he'll be fine. He just needs to go to the hospital and they'll make him better like the last time he was sick. The kids settled after that, but my oldest has been at me crying and begging to make dad come live with us. I promised them I'd talk to dad and figure out what's the best thing to do. I swallowed a lot of bile to talk to him about why he was doing this. We had a pretty long and detailed discussion. The bottom line is that he's broke. He still has a decent job, but his credit is ruined, he has a lot of debt, and he stupidly got the cheapest insurance that barely covers anything. Fiancé is no help either. She's worse off financially, so he needs a place to stay. He can't afford this otherwise. His parents are funding some of his medical payments and are already stretched. He was financially alright when we broke up, so I have no idea what happened in such a short time. Anyway, X and his GF moved into my daughter's room. My daughter happily gave it up to her dad and is sharing her little brother's room. Both kids are over the moon, happy to have their dad in their home. My daughter keeps checking on him every few minutes to make sure he's still okay. Mill traumatized my kid. I'll never forgive that woman for this. I let the GF move in with him because I was too angry to care about who came to look after him as long as it wasn't me. I didn't know how I could bear having her in my home, but it appeared to be more misery for her than me, and that strangely made it more tolerable for me. She is teary-eyed and crying all the time. It's only been 3 days, but I am so annoyed I want to shake her and tell her to pull it together. The current treatment plan is for 3 months. I am counting down the days. I am thankful for the many people who gave me great advice on my last post. I wasn't expecting things to go this way, but they played me by manipulating my kids. I'll slowly pull myself and the kids away and move, but for now, I have to deal with this for my kids' sake. ETA, I was trying to make this update more than a week ago. So to add to that, Tex's treatment is coming along nicely. The tumors that grew again are much smaller than before, and the new stuff that they are giving him is more directed too, so he's not having as many bad symptoms as he had last time. I had promised myself I would do nothing to help, and I stayed away from both X and his fiancée, but I did end up helping him deal with insurance. His fiancée has the personality of a wet noodle and cries all the time. It was easier for me to do it than deal with her struggling. X is polite enough to me, but his personality has changed. He is a different person and not very nice towards his fiancée. I didn't expect to, but I feel sorry for her. User OKMacaron6211 said, I am so sorry you're in this situation. He isn't very nice to her because the honeymoon period is over. Life got real with his sickness, and he is comparing his life that was comfortable with a loving wife who was his rock, his loving children, and medical insurance versus having to beg your ex-wife to house you and your broke GF. His life sucks now, and he blames the GF rather than his actions. You are in this situation now, but please, please, please take advantage to show him what he lost. Not to get him back, you can definitely do better, but my petty side wants out because of the situation you have been forced into. Petty recommendations that won't hurt your kids. Cook his absolute favorite, most delicious smelling dinner, don't cook them any. If his birthday or Father's Day is while he's with you, go to town to get the kids to celebrate him. His favorite thing, everything from the time he was living with you. Then give him your most special home-cooked meal or baked goods for dinner. The kids enjoy spoiling their dad, and he gets a reminder of what he lost. Ask if the GF can look after the kids for a day your ex doesn't have treatment. Then go out on a date looking $1,000,000. If you don't date, they don't need to know that. Just go out with girlfriends. If you do date, don't come home that night. Keep the house perfect, warm, welcoming, and smelling great. Maybe decorate a room or two while he is there. Remind him of the home he left. If you can afford a holiday with the kids, leave some printouts of holiday info you plan to book in the communal areas. Plan a fun family holiday that he isn't invited to anymore. If he looks unwell, just keep asking him if he would like you to get GF for him. You look like you could use some help. Let me get GF to help you. Don't think the level of care he got from you will compare to the care crying GF provides. And overall, remain classy, which frankly I think is your standard behavior mode. When your kids work out, he cheated and hurt you. As they get older, the time frame of the relationship will naturally raise questions. They will remember that you took him and his affair partner in when he was sick, and you did so for them. Just please do not under any circumstances care for him. If he is really bad, take the kids and go stay at your family house. Don't let him drag you back into the darkest years of your life. Under this comment, OP said, I've done the third 2 times already. I haven't dated yet since the divorce. I want to, but online dating scares me, and my social life revolves around my kids. I am pretending to have plans just so I am dressed and out and feel good about myself. I didn't leave the kids with them though. I managed to arrange sleepovers for kids with their friends on those nights. I have been amazed by how much love and support my kids and I are receiving from our neighbors and friends. I told a few close people what's going on, and I suppose most people know now. I have received a lot of offers for help. People can be kind. We got invited to a camping trip on Easter weekend, and I am taking kids to that. Xamil was making noises about having kids over, and I've shut that down. User glumhamster1076 said, this is definitely a case of the grass not being greener on the other side. Honestly, sell the house. Your ex will always need treatment, and he will always ask to stay with you. You don't have to move cities or states, but move away from that clinic. The house is legally yours. Take the money and buy something that fits your budget for you and the kids. Don't give him any of that money. It's your house, your sale, your money. He and his family need to figure out what to do without depending on you. Under this comment, OP said the following, I have started looking into selling and am researching places to move to, but it is so very difficult. I don't have the budget to put the house on the market while I live elsewhere, especially if it takes longer than 2 months to sell. I also don't feel secure opening the house for showings while my kids and I live here. The other issue is that I don't have close family I can rely on, and here in this neighborhood, I have built up an awesome support system between neighbors and friends. Giving that up and starting somewhere new with 2 little kids in tow is daunting. I am trying to evaluate which option is the bigger con. User XLPaper420 said, sounds like your ex-husband is experiencing the classic thing that happens when people cheat. They cheat because they decide they're missing fun and excitement from their lives, and instead of doing the hard work of reintroducing that into their lives themselves, they take a shortcut and date someone that represents that. Then after their divorce, after they see their exes fine post-divorce, reality hits. They start to notice all the things absent from their life now that their ex is gone. Things they didn't appreciate because they weren't fun and exciting. In your case, the consequences and things missing are quite severe. Within a year, he had no money, significantly reduced support this time around, and had to beg you and manipulate the kids to receive accommodation. I hope you're prepared that your ex is going to try to come on to you. He's going to ask if you want to reunite at some point. He's finally realizing his life wasn't empty before, how much you held things down, and that he should have been putting energy into his family, not affairs. He's going to want his family back. It's textbook. Every man who blows up his family for some dumb reasons always wants them back, usually after his ex-wife starts looking good and dating someone new. Almost 2 months later, OP provided another update. My ex and his fiancée moved out today. His treatments went very well this time around. He had to deal with general weakness and nausea, but no vomiting and voiding like the previous time. It's amazing how much medicine improves and changes. He'll need monthly shots for a while, and I agreed to house him for a weekend next month, but after that, he's on his own. The stay went well. We had no drama really. I kept myself busy, and the kids and I traveled a lot. They both managed the rest of the stuff alright, and things worked out. My kids are happy and back to their normal stuff. I had a talk with my daughter about how grandma exaggerated things to get her way and that it was not okay, and she understood. She has shown no interest in visiting her grandparents, and I am happy about that. The last week of his stay, his fiancée went back to their town to take care of some stuff since he was doing pretty well on his own. He and I had a few long, detailed conversations. They were cathartic in some ways and saddening and maddening in others. I think I got some closure. At least I am not feeling the bitterness the way I used to. I may make another post about what he told me, his reasoning and justifications. On another positive note, all that dressing up and going out I've been doing has worked out for me. I met someone. We've been on 2 dates and it's going great so far. This is my first time dating since the divorce, so I am keeping my expectations muted, but still it is very exciting and fun. User MirandaLynn68 said, "No justifications for infidelity. Why would he even think he could justify his actions? And love that his mom's selfish actions backfired, but I guess as long as her baby boy is healthy, who cares about her grandkids' mental health? Props to you for handling this with grace. Happy dating." To this comment, OP said, he sees himself as a good guy. He downplays the cheating as a small failure that happened multiple times as he was helping the GF. And I am the stubborn one for not being willing to work through it. In the next update, OP said, "I tried writing about our conversations, but the process of thinking about it and analyzing it is very depressing. When we had the talk, I felt much better than I do looking back at it now. Then my new date invited me on a trip during the Memorial Day weekend. One of my close neighbor friends encouraged me to go while she watched my kids. I was pretty excited about this vacation, my first adult-only vacation in over a decade. I didn't want my overthinking about my ex to make me depressed during the trip, so I put that on hold. The trip went well, and I am pretty optimistic about this new relationship. Sorry to you guys for taking so long with this, but now that I feel happier, I can have a more grounded take on my ex's views." To start with, he was again very apologetic about what he put me through and that I deserved better from him. When he was going through his cancer treatment while we were married, I was extra careful with his feelings and being calm and patient with him. That had become so much of a habit that even when he told me about his affair, I still treated him with kid gloves. I was firm about wanting a divorce and refused to consider his insistence on working it out, but I swallowed my anger and didn't go off at him. But this time, I got to properly express my hurt and anger at him, and that was very, very cathartic. He took it okay for the most part, but also was stung by it and got defensive. He told me in some detail about how he and his girlfriend got together. She was his high school girlfriend. She came from an abusive background, and in high school, he had helped her and did a lot to encourage her to move out of that situation. When he moved away to go to university and she stayed in their small town, the long distance thing dissolved their relationship. He wanted a bigger city life, and a few years after college, he met me. When he was visiting his parents' home, more while recovering, he reconnected with her. At that time, she was struggling to leave an abusive relationship. It again was like their high school days where she was in trouble and he was the knight in shining armor. I suppose that can be very attractive to someone who's been facing weakness and their own mortality. When he was home, I was waiting on him hand and foot. I didn't even know that he could have enough energy to do all the legwork for this other woman and was spending quite a bit to help her. That's where his currently being broke comes from. She was in financial trouble and he solved all her problems. He is quite proud of how much he helped her, and it doesn't agree with me that he took something away from me in making me work for him while he put his energy away from our family. I don't want to say that I don't support helping someone escape abuse, but I can't help feeling exploited. His response was that he did me a favor by spending time in his town, because that lessened the burdens on me. It is true that when he went away, life got easier by a lot. I had more time, I could focus more on kids, we could cook anything and eat anything, but if he had that kind of energy, then he could have helped me, you know? But he says that I was always stressed out and upset. My attitude was a drain on him. I resent that because I remember how careful I was around him, how much I made myself pliable to be his nurse. He brought up examples of how once I was so upset I went to the balcony to scream. The time I snapped at the kids and then cried about it. He had stories of how I was pushy and difficult. He wasn't making it up. I have my faults, but I worked hard and tried my best. I didn't realize that my help and support weren't good enough for him. I didn't make him feel good. I just did the shit work. I think he resents me because he feels he owes me. He likes his girlfriend because she owes him and is dependent on him. 3 months later, OP gave a shorter update. I introduced my BF to my kids this past weekend. We've been spending so much time together and talking almost every day, and I finally felt ready to bring him into their lives. I gave my ex a heads up that I am dating and will be introducing the guy to our kids. He went very quiet on the phone, then asked details about who he was, and I gave those to him. He tried to dissuade me from letting kids meet my BF, saying it's too soon and it's not healthy for the kids and whatnot, as if I I got the choice to make such a call when he got his GF into my kids' lives. Anyway, I finished the call annoyed. Last night, he called me back to discuss my BF. Apparently, he looked into him, which is fine with me. There's not much for him to criticize there, so he asked me if I was with my BF for money. To say I was furious is an understatement. My BF is in a lucrative career, and he may be a couple of tax brackets above me. I don't know for sure, haven't talked finances with him, but I do pretty well myself. And I've supported myself and my kids and even my lousy ex, and this is what he asks me. I retorted that no, I am not with him for his money. I am with him because my ex-husband dumped me after exploiting me. He got upset at that and said that I have a barbed tongue and people think I am so nice, but don't see how verbally abusive I can be. So that's nice. All I've done for him, and he has no problem being cruel to me again and again. User You Mad Hatter said, your ex is just mad because you have successfully moved on. He realized that you're not sitting at home missing him, and he can't use you as a backup if this new relationship doesn't work out for him. Keep living your life and don't let his BS drag you down. If you're worried about him causing problems in the future, tell him you will only communicate through text or a custody communication app. Take screenshots if necessary. That way, you will have a record of all communication if you need to go to court. Under this comment, another user said, I think he's also mad because he might still be in a financial crisis. Remember, he was broke, in debt, and the fiancé even worse with money when OP took him in. I highly doubt that went away, so to find out not only OP is happy, but she found someone who's financially stable and may not be a burden to her, definitely struck a nerve on him. He doesn't like that she found someone so much better than him while he's stuck with a noodle who's also a burden along with his lack of money. I do agree OP may need to start taking screenshots just in case he starts to cross the line of harassment and possibly alienating the kids. And I hope his fiance leaves him and gets therapy because I don't doubt he's speaking to her the same way he spoke to OP or even worse. The next update is pretty short, so I will be combining it with the final update. I received a few messages asking for updates, but things have been calm, so there are no updates. My current relationship is going well. We are working on building our blended family. My 2 kids and his son get along really well. They are tight together. We have been thinking of buying a house together and selling mine. I am both excited and nervous about doing that. X didn't act up after that last argument. He's been more aloof than before, but that's preferable, so I don't care. Things are well on his side too, as far as I know. My BF and I bought a new place together. I've sold the house and I am rather relieved to leave that place. I liked having a home, but there were too many bad memories there and the emotional baggage of my ex-in-laws thinking they still have a claim on the place. I will miss my old neighborhood though. I had a lot of supportive friends there. My kids love the new place. It's bigger with a bigger yard and nicer schools. As we were clearing out the house, I told my ex to pick up a few of his things still left behind. He had a few boxes of pictures, kids' artwork, and some small things, and I left them in the garage for him to come pick them up. He came to get them and ended up full on crying over the memories. We didn't talk or interact in any way. I just gave him water and left him alone to calm down. But honestly, I felt such visceral rage at his crying. I thought I was over this and the past was past, and I am happy with my life now, but at that moment I felt so much anger and it upset me that I was still not fully past what he had done. His relationship with his fiancée has ended and I do feel a bit bad about that. They were supposed to be married in July and that didn't happen. Then I heard from some mutual friends that she has moved back with her abusive ex. They have kids together and there was a lot of pressure from her family to reconcile. And yes, her family is abusive too. My ex had helped her against them when they were first dating, and they've always held that against him. So she stayed with my ex while he was digging her out of her financial crisis. Now that she's in the clear, she goes back to the guy who put her in that hole. In a way, my ex, and by extension me, helped some deadbeat out there make a lot of savings. In that part, I feel angry on my ex's behalf. I mean, I hate him for my own reasons, but he did try to help his old friend and high school sweetheart, and she screwed him over. User Zealous Ideal Gold said, I honestly don't think there's a greater punishment for someone like your ex. I think, despite going through all of this, he will still see himself as the victim. As you said, he tried to help his fiancée, and she screwed him over. He will use that sob story to make anyone feel bad for him. In reality, it just doesn't change the fact he was a shitty person to you simply because he felt emasculated and wanted an ego boost, and look where it got him. Single and can't even see his kids full time now that you guys have moved. This was honestly all for nothing. I would have preferred him him being married to the fiancée, at least it would have meant something, but now your life has been ruined only for his relationship to not work out. That's why the best solution is to just move on and focus on your new partner and kids. Other than the kids, your ex is no longer your problem and you don't need to deal with his emotional state. You're already doing a good job at that, so keep it up. User Snafe said, I understand your anger. Your ex cheated on you when you were taking care of your kids and being his nurse. He did all that to be someone else's white knight when he had a loving wife and family at home who were supporting him emotionally and physically, even moving home to aid his cancer treatment. Together, you had everything and could face anything. He threw it away, he was stupid, and caused you and your kids a lot of anguish and heartache, not even to mention what your Emma did. So for him to sit and cry over the life that could have been when you had to face this all daily over the past few years must be infuriating. I am glad things with your BF and the blended family are doing well. You deserve a happy ending. User 73 Shay said, he destroyed his family to be a white knight. That savior complex has only left him broken and alone. He only has himself to blame. Happy for you, OP, in your new beginning. You have every right to be angry. Look at what he put you through and for absolutely nothing.